Thank you. Good afternoon, everyone. It's an absolute pleasure to be here at the launch of this brilliant publication, and it's fair to say that at NUS we're really excited about working with Unions21. The current climate that we find ourselves in today renders the professional development of young people an absolutely critical issue. With youth unemployment reaching a record nearly 1 million, a housing market that is inaccessible to nearly all under 30, the burden of state investment on further and higher education now on our shoulders, and poor working conditions and low to non-existent pay, times for young people are getting undeniably tough. And yet, despite all of this, so few young people are members of trade unions. This is a big problem. And with such disengagement, and when they're not using the tools laid out for them, how are young people going to stand up for their rights in the workplace? We need to find a way to ensure that collectivism actually means something for young people today, and understanding that working together we can fight all the challenges that lie in our way. From outreach programmes to campaigning against unpaid internships, in times like this we need the structures and expertise of trade unions to help us in this fight. But equally, trade unions need the buy-in of other organisations if they're to successfully ride the wave of the next generation of workers' rights. To quote a phrase in my colleague Danny's submission, our challenges can and must be jointly met. So let's talk briefly about practical steps on how NUS can best introduce students to trade union memberships. We already know from our research that many students are very difficult to engage in trade unionism. The figures speak for themselves. 5% of students are trade union members. 5%. We know that those juggling responsibilities, those who are perhaps the ones that need representation the most, are too busy to become active union members in both student and trade unions. But we have already also seen that through spin-off benefits such as commercial partnerships and relevant product discounts, that students can be engaged. Because we have already done this through our NUS Extra cards and more recently through the launch of the apprenticeship card. To the extent that students have now come to expect this, which brings me to the potential option for launching a joint NUS and TUC card. The focus groups conducted by Unions21 have already indicated that the cost of subscription is a barrier for students itself, who are increasingly feeling the pinch with living costs and accommodation costs rising without any student support, financial support matching this rise. We also know that there is a lot of confusion around trade unions for students surrounding which one to join, or if they're even eligible to join, or what a trade union even is. I think it's fair to say that up until a couple of years ago, I didn't even know what a trade union was, and I'm a student union representative. In fact, even at NUS, none of the elected officers are members of trade unions. This is something that we're going to be working on this year, but I think that really speaks a lot. So, at NUS we feel that a student TUC card would give students who opt in access to the service of a nominated union. We feel that this is the best way forward. And so hopefully this is a path that we'll follow in order to engage a new generation of trade unionists.
Thanks very much.